Emergency
Mike,
pod. Emergency pod. Emergency pod.
what did we just watch?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Mike. I didn't watch the first half because I was getting ready. I had it on in the background. Like I wasn't like glued in. I wasn't locked in because we're getting stuff ready. We're leaving for our trip tomorrow, and then I'm like, oh, it's 15 points. It's 17 points. They get kept. It was seemed like it was volleying like between 12 and 15 like the whole third quarter. Is that pretty accurate? Oh, did you freeze already, Mike? You there, Mike?
I'm here. My internet is trying to reconnect. It says.
Oh, there you
So I
go.
don't know if you
Okay,
can hear
there
me.
we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry.
that's okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
That's all right. So the lead was volume between 12 and 15, like the whole third quarter. And I'm like, well, I mean, Oklahoma City's going to win this game. And then we got to 9 points, and I'm like, oh no, I'm having I'm having PTSD flashbacks to the Cavs series and to the Bucks series, and it's like, oh my gosh, here we go. And man, they just put it all together in the end, and they ended up pulling it off. Mike, I can't believe it. And the fact that Carlisle didn't call that timeout and just let his guy plays, that just shows you how much faith and trust he has in them. And if Halliburton doesn't take that shot, like you know, Carlisle's coaching is questioned probably, and but he's been consistently doing that all playoffs, like letting his guys play. I mean, and I find it hilarious. They were talking about how Halliburton disappeared basically the whole game, and then he just showed up at the right time at the end of the game. Right? I mean, it's amazing. Obi Toppin ridiculously hitting threes. Miles Turner hit that bank three. I think that was the point. When that happened, Mike. I was like, it's happening. This is it. That bank three went in.
So I don't even know where to begin in this game. Indiana has 18 turnovers in the first half, and somehow they're only down 12. Now Oklahoma City shot in this mid 30% in the first half, which kept Indiana in the game despite the fact that they had a ridiculous 18 turnovers. And yet you're watching, and with what, 9.5 minutes to go, I think it was 94-79. And then to your point, you had Obi Toppin hit two threes. You had Miles Turner hit those two threes. Neesmith hit one, and I forget who else hit the other one. Maybe Nemhart hit another one, but they hit six threes in the last 9.5 minutes. And even all that being said, I still really didn't take it seriously that they were going to make it all the way back. I know they had it to 102.98 with about maybe 4 minutes to go. And even then, I didn't feel like it just felt like the Pacers had been almost non competitive the entire game. And then all of a sudden, it got back to 10. When it got to 108, 102, I was like, this can't be happening again. It just can't be. And when they get the last stop and SGA misses that little pull up and Indiana gets the rebound, I had no doubt. It's crazy that I just had no doubt that somehow Indiana was going to score. Now, clearly, the fact that it was Halliburton again, you're talking about four straight playoff games or four straight rounds where Halliburton has topped off an unbelievable comeback
Did,
with
did you did you see the stat, Mike, at the end of the game?
the staff. You mean the Pacer
The
staff?
stat, the stat, no, the stat about the game
Oh, I
winners
thought you
in
said the
fourth
staff.
quarter and playoffs. Did you see the stat at the end of the game, or did you turn it off? He's
I
got
didn't see it.
five.
If I
He's
if it
got
flashed,
five. He's since 2007. He has five game winning or game tying games in fourth quarter of overtime of the playoff. The only person that has more is LeBron. LeBron only has eight. That's since 2007.
look, there's no way that you can criticize what Tyrese Halliburton has been able to do in the last minute of these games. You could put the four games where these comebacks have taken place, you could play all four of those games again 100 times, and maybe the Pacers win, I don't know, 1 out of 100 of each of those games. And then the fact that you compile all four of them in four separate playoff rounds together, and the odds of all of those things happening are just unbelievable. And it's not like Indiana played this tremendously outstanding game. They finished, granted, they only had 6 turnovers in the second half, but they still ended the game with 24 turnovers. SGA, would he finish with 37, I think, tonight?
38,
And
38.
38.
Most points in a
So, and
final
he was,
debut since who? In 2001.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I gave you the year, 2001.
I don't even, 2001, Allen Iverson.
See, I knew you could do it. Come on, Mike. I knew you could knock
Okay.
that out of the park.
Okay.
Good job, buddy.
There you go.
Proud of
All
you.
right. Well, that's, but even Shea was 14 for 30, so wasn't, super efficient. But we talked about it when we previewed the series, and obviously we were, well, my prediction's already gone, so you at least have Oklahoma City in 5, which I still think is probably the most likely outcome. But man, it's Oklahoma City. Chet and Jalen Williams. That was the concern. Those two guys combined to go 8 for 28, and if your second and third best players are going to go 8 for 28, you certainly open the door for your opponent to be able to beat you. And that was the concern heading into the playoffs. Those two guys have been, I would say, shaky at times, yet they've been trending in the right direction. They were probably the shakiest in the Denver series. They were both pretty solid to good in the Minnesota series. And tonight, neither one of them played their best game. Chet was pretty much invisible. Jalen Williams was a little bit better, but he wasn't
I mean, he got bent.
as good as he
Chet got
usually.
benched in the fourth quarter, Mike. In crunch
Chet
time.
was not good. He was not good, and
And
couldn't
his
shoot.
outfit was not good before the game either. I don't know if you saw his outfit.
I didn't see the outfit, but based on the State Farm commercial, I, if that's the fashion that they're trying to put out that they're all battling over, yeah, I could probably do
I
without
sent
any
it
of
to
that.
you on Twitter, Mike, if you wanted to take a look, if you
Okay.
cared to look at Chet Holmgren walking into the stadium.
Okay. Well, I'm sure I'm gonna be duly impressed with Chet's outfit. And Chet might want to pull up his pants a little bit, but it is what it is. Anyway,
It's hard to
not
get
really
clothes that fit him,
functional.
apparently.
Probably not relevant to the outcome of this game, but yeah, oh well. Anyway, those two guys have to be better, and I just the fact that it's happened 4 times in 4 consecutive series, I just can't. I continue to not be able to wrap my head around it. And like I said, I didn't see it coming. It just felt like Oklahoma City was not going to be susceptible to that same type of experience that the Knicks, Cavs, and Bucks were susceptible to, simply because of the defense, the 68 wins, the Shea factor. All of those things just led you to believe that even if the Pacers were in the same situation that they had been in those other previous series, that they weren't going to be able to overcome it. And sure enough, man, they did it. And like I told you before we jumped on, I wasn't 100% in belief as it was happening. Even when it got to, like I said, 108, 102 was when I first started thinking about it. But once Shea misses that shot and Indiana grabs the rebound, I had full faith and confidence that Indiana was going to win. If there's ever a team of destiny, you want to talk yourself into a team calling themselves or feeling like, or a fan base feeling like, hey, we're a team of destiny, tonight is the surest signal that maybe there ever has been that Indiana is a team of destiny. I still think that ultimately talent and having the better team is going to win this series, but your belief, if you're an Oklahoma City fan or if you're just a casual NBA fan, your belief in Indiana as the team of destiny has to be just going through the roof. And if you're an Oklahoma City fan, those fans were just completely stunned. I don't know, like, I'm not a fan of either one of these teams necessarily. I mean, I'm rooting for Oklahoma City, I would think, in this series. But if you're an Oklahoma City fan, whether you're sitting at home on your couch or you're in that arena, it was stunning. There's no way you could have ever thought your team was going to lose that game.
Yep. All right, Mike. So my buddy Eric just sent me a tweet from Underdog NBA. So I'm going to read this to you. The Pacers have 4 comeback wins with less than a 5% win probability in this playoffs. Okay. East round 1, game 5, they had a 2.1% chance with 39 seconds left in overtime. Eastern Conference semifinals game 2, they had a 4.1% chance with 57 seconds left in overtime. Eastern Conference Finals game 1, they had a 1.2% chance with 58 seconds in the fourth quarter. And then in this game, they had a 3.6% chance with 2:42 left in the fourth quarter. I mean, it's just
Yeah, it's unreal.
it's a case study. I wish I could work my doctoral dissertation into how are the Indiana Pacers doing this in the fourth quarter, because it's unbelievable. It's very reminiscent of like what the Cavs did in 2018, right? Didn't we win a bunch of games late in that playoff series, in those playoffs? Like not the finals, obviously.
We squeaked by in a lot of games
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
that particular playoff run because that Cavs team was not overpowering in any way, shape, or form. And this Indiana team is not overpowering. Oklahoma City has been overpowering throughout the playoffs. I guess the one thing is I'm looking at the box score and thinking about the statistics, and we already talked about it in terms of 6 threes in the last 9.5 minutes, but Indiana did make 18 threes in this game or shot 46% from 3-point range. So that's what helped them to make up for the 24 turnovers, obviously the bulk of which came in the first half when they were down by 12.
Listen, they've been the best 3-point shooting team in the playoffs, Mike.
For sure.
The Pacers.
For sure.
And
I felt like Shea's ability to create good shots would prevent the type of runs that were necessary in order to be able to come back like this the way they did in the previous 3 rounds. And Shea made a couple big baskets down the stretch, but he also missed a couple that you would normally expect that he would make. And as we've said when we've discussed every one of these comebacks against the Bucks, the Cavs, and the Knicks, every single thing just about has to go right in order for you to make the comeback. The only thing I guess you could argue that didn't go right in the last minute and a half was the Siakam taking the ball out of bounds, which was a good call, by the way. I don't think there was a foul there. And Siakam flies out of bounds with the ball. And I guess it wouldn't have stunned me based on the weird replays that we've seen that they would have called a proximate foul there on Cason Wallace. But I think it was the right call not to
yeah.
call that a proximate foul. And so that's really the only thing that
But I
you
think
could
it was the
point
right
to and
challenge,
say,
though. It was the right challenge, right? We might as
you
well
have to challenge it. Yeah, with that much time left and still having one in your back pocket, you have to challenge that and see if you can get it. Because look, I've seen far more egregious things called proximate fouls or things that I thought was completely obvious that get reversed or don't get reversed, however you want to look at it. So I wouldn't have been stunned if they had called a proximate foul on Cason Wallace. I don't think it was. I think that was the right call, but I wouldn't have been surprised if they had reversed the call and given the ball to Indiana. But that's the only thing really I guess you could say that didn't go Indiana's way in the last 2.5 minutes. And then, like I said, Shea got a good shot on that possession, just didn't put it in.
Yeah. There was something else I was going to say. I thought about, and I've forgotten what it was. But man, I just still can't believe that they won that game. Like I just think about, the Pacers led for the only 0.3 seconds in the game. The the Thunder led for 46 minutes and 25 seconds. I mean, it's just
At no point during that game did I really think that Oklahoma City was going to lose it until because
well. I
so
texted you. I
the thought
texted you when
process
there was like 4 minutes left, and I said you got to give the Pacers like some credit because they're working their butts off. They're playing hard. And then my next text to you was an expletive text when Halliburton hit the shot because and it was funny because as soon as I said give the Pacers a lot of credit, Oklahoma City scored like 3 straight buckets and made it like a 9-point or 10-point game. I was like, oh, I just jinxed them. I ended that game. And then it's just like you said, I didn't think there was any chance that they were going to come back and win that game. I just didn't. But
you can't even put it into words that they've done this in 4 consecutive series, coming back from deficits that no team has any right to expect to be able to do that once in a playoff run, let alone do it 4 times. And then it's also topped off by the fact that every single one of those comebacks, which were accomplished as a team, right? You had different guys that had huge factors in each of those different runs. Tonight you talked about Obi Toppin and Miles Turner hitting the threes. You had the Neesmith 6 threes in the last whatever 2.5 minutes or whatever it was of game one against the Knicks. You had all the guys, different guys that contributed to the Cavs' demise in their series. And then they're all topped off. Every one of those four comebacks is topped off by a Halliburton shot. This was probably the most run of the mill pedestrian shot of the three because in the Bucks comeback, he seals it with driving past Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the best defensive players, obviously long, best players in the game, finishes it with a layup, beating Giannis from the wing. Then you have the Cavs shot that somehow comes out after a tipped out rebound on the free throw, and he dribbles backwards and makes the three when he only needed a two. Then you have the Knicks where it ends up being a two instead of a three, but it bounces 20 feet in the air off the back rim and goes in. And then you have tonight's shot, which is just kind of a normal, again, run of the mill jump shot. But to have the four crazy comebacks and then all four of them topped off by the same player making a clutch shot in each one of those situations, it's truly incredible. It's incredible on behalf of the Pacers, and it's incredible, as you alluded to, in terms of Tyrese Halliburton coming through in the clutch. And we've spent a lot of time on the podcast talking about Tyrese Halliburton and trying to figure out what he is, kind of where he ranks. And obviously, being from Cleveland here, we've talked a lot about comparing him to Darius Garland. I think we can, if we haven't already, we can safely put those comparisons to bed. At the same time, I don't I don't know how to quantify Tyrese Halliburton because I don't necessarily think that he's star in the same way that he's going to carry a team. He's not a Shea level superstar, but he's obviously the guy that's driving this team. And who knows where this series goes? I still think that if you look at the totality of the game and you look at how it was played and you look at what went well for each team, what didn't go well, a lot of things had to go right for Indiana to be able to A, win this game, and B, to be able to come back. I think Oklahoma City has a lot of things that they can point to and say, hey, we did this well. If we just continue and we make some shots and our secondary guys play better, that we're going to be fine. And I don't think my analysis of the series overall has changed. I still think that Oklahoma City has many more ways to be able to win, but man, it, I watched that. I still can't believe what I watched, and
Upstairs.
both throughout the entirety of the game, and then I can't believe what I watched at the end. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I got to go, Mike. I'll be right back.
Right. Jason taking a little break to get his dog outside. So stick with us here if you're on YouTube. Still can't believe what I witnessed. It's crazy. Never at any point during the entirety of this game did I think that Indiana was going to win it, and never did I think that they could pull off
I'm back.
the crazy comeback for the fourth time. It's insane.
Yep. All right. So I don't know when we're going to record another episode. We'll see how it goes. But man, blown away by Indiana winning tonight. And just
The best part about it is that at least it sets up the fact that you're going to have the series now gets competitive because game two obviously becomes critically important. That, I mean, if somehow Indiana were to win game two, that would be unbelievable. But figuring Oklahoma City comes back and it's 1-1, now you go to Indiana, and even if you split there, you're coming back to Oklahoma City 2-2, which means you got probably at least a 6-game series. So I think it's, I mean, I still think Oklahoma City is the much better team I still think that
Yeah.
I'll I won't be surprised if they win the next four in a row. It seems now that it's maybe more likely that it goes. It's probably more likely that it goes six. I still think it's going to go five. I don't. I don't know. I'm still shaking my head at how this how this happened. I really can't figure it out. But kudos to the Pacers. Kudos to Tyrese Halliburton to do this four times in a row as a team, and for Halliburton to do it four times in a row as an
And
individual
hey, we forgot
is
kudos to the
unreal.
Sacramento Kings for fumbling the bag again.
Yeah, that goes without saying. You could trace back many disappointments to Kings management decisions. So that's a whole nother. We could go through San or Sacramento Kings front office and ownership gaffes. That might be a 2 hour podcast instead of the 15-minute podcast we were shooting for tonight. So anyway, I don't know if you have anything else, but I
Nope.
guess we'll just wait and see what happens in game two. So
All right. Sounds good, Mike.
all right, let's leave it there. Game one in the books. Indiana Pacers, unbelievably up 1-0. Game two coming on Saturday night. So we will see what happens then. And who knows if another crazy ending happens, somehow Jason will figure out a way to broadcast live from Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. All right. Thanks for checking out tonight's Game One Emergency Pod, and we will catch you on our next episode. Thanks.